Welcome to Sacred Space, the podcast. I am Tanika, your host, and this is a space for you to tune in and become educated, evolved, and expanded on all things generational healing, personal development, and spirituality. This is a space where I'll get beautiful, like-minded guests on to speak into their stories and their wisdom, as well as hearing mine. So take a big, deep breath into your belly, get anchored, get grounded, and let's get into this week's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. How are we going? I am just feeling like so excited to be back. It's been a whole damn week since I've recorded an episode, but today's episode, I want to have a conversation around a beginner's guide to protecting your energy. Because I've been in reflection, and if you're not already aware, I have just started uploading my podcast to YouTube. So in doing this, I've obviously had to go back through past episodes from almost a year ago. And I've just had a little listen back to some of my old podcast episodes because I truly, up until only about a month ago, was in this space of like, oh my gosh, I cannot listen back. Like whenever anyone would compliment me on my podcast, I would be like, thank you so much. Like I can't explain it. It was like this weird part of me was like, oh my gosh, am I actually fucking talking into a microphone, uploading these conversations and people are listening to them? And I was like, kind of like nervous that I was saying things that like didn't make sense, or I just had these weird like feelings come up. So then I would just like avoid that I even like recorded these episodes and just never listened back to them. So thank you to everyone who has listened to my podcast up until just now and like forever. And just if you're new, if you have been here since the beginning, like I just fucking love you so much. But my point of this is like I haven't listened back to any old episodes up until just recently when I was popping them over to YouTube. So by the way, if you want to listen on YouTube or you are listening on YouTube, hello. But now my podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Google Podcasts, which is super cool. Anyway, I listened back to some old episodes and I realized like the way I speak into things sometimes can come from a space that I'm so embodied in it, or I know so much about the topic that I forget when you're new to this, like maybe it's a little bit much, right? Like maybe it's a little bit like, well, that I don't even know what fucking sage is, or like, you know, that might be a bit of a stretch. But I just realized I want to bring through an episode speaking into how to protect your energy as a beginner, because we all start from some space. Sometimes people get into this energy protection work and like healing themselves, and they've come from a family where they've grown up with crystals and tarot cards. Sometimes you come from a family that has been so like straight and narrow, working the normal careers and thinks this stuff's woo-woo. Sometimes you come from a religious background and this stuff seems like a very like you know, you're not allowed to like look into this sort of stuff. So it's just really interesting. Like we all come from different backgrounds, and I just wanted to like bring that conversation in today and speak about how to protect your energy as a beginner and give you some tangible little tools to do that, right? So that it doesn't feel overwhelming, because that's another thing. And I'm really seeing this in like just a lot of the health industries, mindset industry, like just everywhere right now. And I mean, it's probably always been there, but I just have become aware of it as of recent, how much like shame is evoked in people because there's so much there's like an overwhelming amount of information out there that it actually can do the opposite effect. Like I understand people are trying to, you know, give this information and like educate people, but I feel like it comes to a point where it actually begins to feel shameful for the person on the receiving end, because you don't understand, like you're just like, where do I even fucking start? I'm not even going to begin. And it can like repel you from actually your healing journey. So yeah, I've just had all these little awarenesses drop in, and, you know, also recognizing parts in myself, like I just said, where I have maybe come at it from like too much of a higher level than like maybe it could be received by you guys. I'm not at all saying that you can't receive what I've been saying or anything like that. I just wanted to bring it in like a more of a digestible way. So today we're going to be talking about that. Firstly, classic me, not prepared. Just going to go grab my oracle card so I can pull an oracle card for today's episode. By the way, let me know if you're like loving the oracle cards or if you'd prefer quote of the week. Not sure what you guys would prefer. No one has commented on it. But yeah, like let me know, because I'm actually vibing with the oracle card. I feel like, actually I did have one person message me and say that it was like the exact thing that they needed to hear. So I guess that's good, but like let me know if you're liking the oracle cards. If you would prefer quote of the week, maybe we can swap it up. Okay, besties, we got Thunder. It's number 56, and it's a really beautiful card. It has the moon above a bunch of buffaloes like running in the sky, which I guess is kind of like the thunder, right? Like the noise of the thunder. So I'm going to open the book and see what we have today. So good. I bet you it will be so aligned with like what we're going to talk about. All right. So the medicine of this card is, do you feel like unnecessary drama is waylaying your life? Could you be exhausted from listening to others tell you their never-ending victim story? Or could you be telling yourself a version of the same? It's time for an about face. You're being warned that to continue on this path will cause you to regret your choices, even if they appear benign or familiar. It's time to say no to drama, both yours and others. Focus on solutions rather than problems. You are worthy of a drama-free life. Oh my God. Okay. We love this. There's like 3 parts to the card. So the invitation of this card is, when thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big dramatic change that feels like a herd of wild bison on the run. Okay, I think I said buffaloes. I don't know. They're bison, okay? You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are okay. Let me just quickly do an English class and learn how to read. Hold on. You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set in motion. This is a time to be prepared for anything. Your life is an adventure, and wonderful opportunities are arriving now. The trick is to learn to run with them. Qualities that you'll need now more than ever are flexibility, dexterity, and a willingness to experience it all without dictating from where or in what form opportunities will come. Your destiny is arriving. Be ready. Ooh, I like this one. It's like, just keep on going. Like, don't take the bullshit with you. Like, leave behind all that victim shit. If you're in that frequency, you're not going to get what you want anyway. And just allow life to just move through you. Oh my God, this feels good. This feels good. This feels aligned for me, okay? Hopefully it feels aligned for you as well. And I feel like sometimes like oracle cards, like, you know, when it says like the gossip, like unnecessary drama, it's like, oh, like, fuck, where am I playing into that? And sometimes it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, like, but just know, like, oracle cards are just guidance, and you can either take it or you can leave it. It's guidance to what could better your path, what could heighten your timeline, and there doesn't need to be any fear. It's so super chill. Anyway, I want to get into this episode. Okay, I want to actually start, now that I'm sort of checking in with myself, I want to begin with when I first started doing Bowen therapy and when I first started my business, and how much of an empath. Oh, this is actually leading into this card now that I'm like letting it drop in. So I used to be I'm an empath, like I feel everyone's emotions, poor me, right? I'd play victim to the shit house that I was an empath. And I see this occur so much. Like I see it just in the community. Like people are like, I'm an empath, I can't help it. And like, you actually fucking can. And it sounds so direct, but like you actually can. And like I was in that space as well of, poor me, I'm an empath, I can't like feel good because everyone around me is like not feeling good, or like I can't feel good because I'm a healer and I'm healing people, so I'm taking on all of their stuff, and I don't know, you know, all that. So I would only be able to literally so Bowen therapy is where I began my business. If you weren't already aware, it's a soft tissue therapy. It's reconnecting your body to its innate healing ability. So it's a really powerful modality. If you haven't tried it, you should definitely book in, because it is just so beautiful at balancing our nervous system, reconnecting us to our rest and digest state, because we're mostly in a state, you know, our life is very like hypermasculine, high cortisol, move in that fight or flight. So it just brings you back into your body. Anyway, it's not an energy healing modality at all. Like, it's a physical body modality. But I was in this state of, I would only be able to do like 1 or 2 clients a day. And I would literally be like dropping dead to the floor. Like, I can't fucking do this. Like, it's too much. Like, I'm taking on too much energy. And even though I wasn't doing energy healing then, I wasn't trained in any energy healing modalities. I've always been quite in tune with it. You know, I was like using it as an excuse, like my being an empath, that I couldn't actually work because I was taking on their energy, when really it was just resulting in me having no fucking boundaries. Like, it was poor boundaries. So the reason I brought this into it is because this can actually, like I said, a lot of people use like the I'm an empath thing as an excuse, and a lot of people use it. It's kind of like, you know, human design, astrology, all these things. Like people kind of go like, oh, like I'm a generator, so I can't do XYZ, or I'm an Aries, so I can't do XYZ. But it's like they're not there to tell you what your identity is. They're there to guide you. And so being an empath, it's not there to like actually keep you small. It's not there to punish you. It's there so that you can be so in tune with the environment around you. And an empath's job is not to hold on to the emotions of others. It's to actually be able to empathize with them and move those emotions through. It's not about holding on to them. You don't get a golden trophy or like a golden star and a like best student award for fucking holding other people's shit. Like it actually just ruins your life. Like it actually just makes your life not fulfilling, right? So that's why I wanted to bring that in here, because even in the workplace, it doesn't matter if you're doing energy healing, you can, you know, apply this to your own lifestyle. It could be the gym that you're going to, it could be the job that you have, it could be the friends that you have. Where are like these things not feeling good for you, but you're like blaming it on, well, that's just how it is, or it's just because I'm an empath, I can't help it. And my little tip for you would be to start learning to set boundaries. And I know boundaries are actually, when you have come from a space, like I will go a little bit vulnerable here, you know, my upbringing, I didn't know what fucking healthy boundaries were. I literally have only been learning what boundaries are this year in 2023. Not that I've not had boundaries, I've obviously learnt them, but standing in strong boundaries to protect myself has been only as of this year. When it comes to my external world. When it comes to my internal world, I feel like I definitely a couple of years ago began to learn from mentors and all the things like what I was just speaking into, how I had no boundaries of being an empath. I definitely learned like the boundaries there in like energy protection boundaries. Yeah. But boundaries are a really big topic, and it can feel daunting. It can feel scary. And like I said, from my upbringing, I was never shown what boundaries even really were. So to me, it was like, well, every time as a child, I would try to set a boundary without realizing that I was trying to set a boundary. It would be not respected. And that is no shame to anyone like at all. This is just how it was, and there's lack of education and all the things, and you know, you guys always know that I'm always saying absolutely no shame to like anyone from my childhood. It's just my experience, my perspective, all the things. But so I never really knew what boundaries were, so like setting boundaries was like fucking scary. So I actually understand if I'm saying like, you know, you've got to set boundaries and you're sitting there like, how the hell do I do that? So my tip to you would be start setting boundaries with yourself. You can start by implementing some of the things that we're going to go through in this episode, because even though they're not like boundaries where you're like, I am telling you this and I'm standing in this, it's energetic boundaries. It's like energy protection, like protecting your energy is actually setting boundaries for yourself, because it's setting like a wall, like an energetic wall, so that things can't come into your energy field unless you ask them to. So that is definitely like my first tip, is learning to set boundaries with yourself by implementing things from this episode. By, you know, like a really powerful thing even that I've implemented is not going on my phone before 8 a.m., right? That's an internal boundary. That doesn't affect anyone else in my life, but I know that it makes me feel good. It doesn't affect anyone. No one else would even know I'm doing that, but it makes me feel good. So that's what I do, and that's an internal boundary. Maybe yours could be like making your bed every morning, making sure that you get up first thing. Okay, I'm just going to start using my fucking morning routine, I guess. Make sure that when you get up, first thing you do is like tongue scrape and brush your teeth and drink a cup of water. Yes, it's routine, but it's also setting boundaries with yourself that this is the standard I'm holding myself at. And it's creating that evidence that it's safe for you to set boundaries. And once you get to that space of feeling safe in setting boundaries with yourself, that's where it can become a lot easier to set those boundaries in the workplace, to set those boundaries with friends, to set those boundaries with parents, where you can have that little bit more confidence because you've developed the evidence in yourself that it is safe. And you can begin to go, hey, like, I actually don't respect the way you're talking to me right now, or hey, I actually don't want to play into this conversation anymore. Can we change the topic? And you just begin to be more confident in that. Anyway, boundaries is definitely a really important part, a very important role in personal development, I feel. If you're wanting support in this, I do have space for my one-on-one mentorship in my aligned space, which is like a 3-month space together. We've got a bunch of online calls, a bunch of healing. It's just super great. I can hold you accountable, mentor you through all of these things. If this is something that you're wanting to, just have support in, just reach out to me on Insta and we can get sorted for that. That would be excellent. So I do also want to preface, right? When we're protecting our energy, we need to make sure that we actually have all of that energy in our field, and also making sure that all of the energy in our field is ours and not other people's. So it's really common, think about walking through the shops, right? Our energy fields go a lot further outside of our physical body than we can actually kind of imagine. So when we're walking through, say, like the Sunshine Plaza or like wherever you live, like your local shopping center, there's fucking people everywhere. Like you're like connecting in and like, entangling some of your energy with theirs. They're taking some of yours, you're taking some of theirs. And this is why energy protection is so important, because this actually happens. And that's why sometimes you might notice, like, you'll go to the shop in a good mood and then you'll leave and you'll be like really agitated and you'll have road rage on the way home. And then you'll get home and you'll, slam your keys onto the counter and you'll just be like, what the fuck? I've had the worst, energy right now. And a lot of the time it's not even yours. Like, that's just where the discernment piece has to come in. So I would definitely say, okay, let's go through like some morning rituals that you could implement. And no, you don't have to do all of these every single day. Tune into your intuition and ask you what feels good. 1, standing on the grass in the morning, outside in nature, watching the sunrise, or like this, maybe the sun's already up, but feet bare on the ground, close down your eyes, place your hands on your heart, and just breathe. Like, honestly, coming back to the breath, you may choose to do some box breathing, or you may choose to just, focus on how your breath is naturally guiding you. And as you're standing on the earth, begin to just imagine that you're pulling up from the earth through your whole body, healing and protecting energy from Mother Gaia. And this is really powerful. And I know that it might sound like, oh, would that even do anything? But honestly, intention is fucking everything. And if you believe it, it does. And it's so grounding, especially after, you may have had like some hectic dreams or not a very good sleep. You're just like charging on the earth. It's just so powerful. And you can imagine this with maybe a green light coming up, whatever feels good for you. But visualization is really powerful. Another thing that you could do is, if that doesn't feel good, or you could do it alongside this, is looking at the sun and just beginning to, with every exhale, imagine that you're sending to the sun all of the energy that's in your body that isn't yours. And you can do this at any time of the day, but just like taking deep breaths, but imagining that the sunlight is actually taking away all of the entities, all of the energy that isn't yours, all the heavy emotions, and recharging you through your crown chakra with the beautiful light from the sun, recharging your body with divine energy. And you can kind of just do this at any time. And, it's so powerful because you're feeling the heat of the sun on your body and you're like, God damn, this is actually working. You could do this with a candle as well if it's like rainy outside or you just don't want to go outside. There's so many different ways. It really comes back to intention. You may choose to use some incense, some Palo Santo, some sage, essential oils. You may choose to use some sprays. There's beautiful sprays out there that are handmade with love by people to your local area. I'm sure of it. There's so many here on the Sunshine Coast. You could make them on your own. And just like spraying around your energy field. But knowing like when you do it, it's not just about lighting the sage stick and smudging. It's about lighting the sage stick and actually allowing your energy to soften to that, and asking, anything that is not mine, please return to sender, protecting my energy. It's really about that. So basically, yeah, the biggest tip here, isn't it? It's like, now that I'm saying it aloud, it's really like, what's your intention? Is your intention to protect your energy? Because if it is, you're protecting your energy. And it also comes back to then the boundaries. So yeah. Okay, let's just give you one more little tip. I feel like, okay, I know at the start of my journey, one of the things I used to do all the time was have a magnesium bath, right? Like a hot magnesium bath. And to some, this may sound, oh, okay, I'm just going to go have a bath, like how relaxing. But the difference between a energy protecting bath and just like a bath is like the intention. So when you're running your bath, putting like into it, like, do you want essential oils? Do you want flowers? Do you want just magnesium oil? What do you want in your bath? And actually like asking the water to fill the bath with complete love, complete bliss, complete joy. and to dissolve any energy that is not aligned with your highest and best good. And it's just setting like that little prayer, that little intention into the water. You may even like to speak to the water. I know this sounds crazy, but honestly, water actually holds energy, and there are like books and things that you can read up on this to see that it's like scientifically proven that that water holds memory. And so I love talking to like my bath water and just saying like what I've just said, like setting an intention, setting a prayer. And once you're in there, doing whatever you want to do, read a book, listen to a meditation, just like be present with yourself, come back to your breath, all the things. But my favorite part of this entire like ritual is sitting in the bath and staying in the bath as the water is draining out of it. Because I always visualize as the water is draining out of the bath and down the drain, it's pulling literally off of me, like ripping off of me all of the shit that doesn't serve me and all of the stuff that's not aligned with me. And I always feel like when I get out of that bath, like my energy feels so protected, I feel so grounded, I feel so centered, and I feel so myself. So definitely try that if you have a bath, because it's super powerful, I feel. But yeah, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've kind of like covered quite a few things right now of how to protect your energy for a beginner. Like I've said, guys, it's very much the intention of protecting your energy. Like, how does that look for you? Maybe it is just taking a few breaths of the morning. Maybe it's doing a yoga flow and just really connecting in with your physical body, knowing that the intention is where the energy goes. If you do have like, things come up where you're like, maybe you have a little bit of fear, or like things are coming into your awareness that really do feel heavy and really don't feel good, I would recommend that either you do go receive like an energy healing just to like help you shift through that and to really come to a centered space. Because yes, I always say, like, I preach it, like the magic is within you, like you are so magical, that sometimes it is nice to outsource that just to, a healer who can actually help guide you and see things that you may not be seeing in yourself. Because even though we can be conscious beings, our ego can still definitely get in the way, and sometimes that can be what's stopping us from like completely healing our like protecting our energy. So I would definitely recommend that. But other than that, intention is everything. Set some little boundaries with yourself, because when you set the boundaries with yourself, you'll begin to be able to set the boundaries with others. And yeah, you can always call in different archangels, call on your guides, your higher self to protect you throughout the day. It's honestly intention. So I hope this episode has helped you. I am so grateful for everyone. I loved recording this. It was just super intuitive. I actually didn't even have this planned. I just was, okay, I feel like that's happened the last few episodes. I'm just like listening to my intuition hardcore. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and let me know if you have. I just want to remind you that yes, I'm over on YouTube now. So I'm going to be uploading videos there. I'm still just getting like my feet grounded on like getting into the rhythm of having another platform, but loving it. So we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got my free Facebook community. If you haven't joined the free Facebook community, like jump on in there. What the fuck are you doing? Because it's August and it's been 1 year since my business has been rebranded, I've been doing little birthday sales over there, which is so fun. We love it. Funky fresh. So it's Sacred Community with Tanika on Facebook. I also have a link below to a free downloadable cycle PDF that I've created. So jump on that, download that for free if that's something that you want to do. Jump on over, follow me on all the places, reach out to me, share this with a friend, share it to your stories. You know the go. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to be back in your ears next Thursday. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. Bye.